Train your mind to never give up, because one day, strength will be the only thing you have left. When you choose to face instead of run, to stay strong instead of fall, to act instead of complain, the world begins to shift around your strength. At first, nothing changes. The doors remain closed, the dreams still feel distant, and inside you is the urge to quit. But day by day, as you keep moving forward, even when no one sees, something is being forged in silence. You are training your brain not to surrender. The human mind is a complex machine. It protects you from pain. Yet it's also the very thing that stops you before you reach greatness. Every time you say, "I can't," your brain believes it. Every time you choose to rise, it learns a new lesson. Strength doesn't come from inspiration, but from action. When you force yourself to move forward tired, afraid, uncertain, you're rewriting the program that runs your life. You're creating the person you're meant to become. Training the mind isn't about erasing emotion, but mastering reaction. Because resilience doesn't mean not feeling fear, it means walking forward even when fear is still there. You'll feel disappointment. You'll want to quit. You'll hear that quiet voice whisper, "Just today. Rest, try again tomorrow." But in that very moment, between the comfort of ease and the call of discipline, you have the chance to be reborn. Those who've lived this truth know transformation doesn't happen in applause, but in silence. There's no miracle beyond the act of repeating one small effort every single day until it becomes instinct. That's how the brain learns not to quit. Not because you were born strong, but because you choose to build strength second by second, breath by breath. This is the real victory. Not the glory at the top, but the quiet triumph every time you rise above yourself. Each time you stand back up after a fall, you don't just move closer to your goal, you're training your mind to understand that quitting is no longer an option. This is how an unbreakable person is built. And today, that journey begins with you. Most people believe that some are born stronger, more disciplined, with extraordinary energy to pursue their goals to the end. They think they're weaker, less fortunate, or simply not built to handle pressure. But that's the sweet lie your brain tells you every time you want to stop. No one is born with a steel will. No one wakes up every morning with perfect motivation. The difference between those who fall and those who keep going isn't in their genes or talent. It's in how they train their mind when things get hard. The human brain dislikes change. It's wired to protect you from discomfort. When you start something new, working out, writing a book, starting a business, the deepest part of your mind will resist. It will find every reason to make you stop. Too tired, too busy, not the right time. But understand this. That's not weakness. That's your brain's survival mechanism. And if you don't recognize it, you'll believe you're not strong enough, that others have something you don't. Resilient people don't differ from you at the starting line. They differ in how they respond to resistance. When their mind says, "Stop," they smile and say, "One more time." When their body gets tired, they don't see it as a sign to quit, but as proof they're on the right path. They know that discomfort is the threshold of growth, and every time you stop, you reinforce the habit of giving up. Every time you push back, even for a few seconds, you're building mental muscle, the kind of strength no one can give you but yourself. People often say, "I just need more motivation." But motivation is never the real problem. You don't lack motivation, you lack the ability to act without it. That's what real strength is. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. Inspiration comes and goes like the wind, but discipline is what you can control. Every time you act without needing to feel inspired, you're teaching your brain that emotions no longer control you. Those who achieve great things aren't always filled with confidence. They doubt, they fear, they get tired just like you. But they've trained themselves not to let those emotions lead. They understand no one is coming to save them. No one will hand them a better version of themselves. Change begins the moment you accept that you alone are responsible for continuing. Think of a long-distance runner. In the first 5 minutes, he feels fine. By minute 20, his body starts to resist. By minute 30, the pain invites him to stop. But he knows that if he pushes through that phase, his body will adapt, his heartbeat steadies, endurance rises, and strength appears. Life works the same way. The moments you want to quit are the threshold of evolution. Most people stop there, but the ones who train their minds take one more step, and that step changes everything. If you think others have something you don't, remember this. They just made one different decision. They decided not to stop. Every time they fall, they rise. Every time they lose direction, they keep moving, and slowly, their brain learns that quitting is no longer an option. When that happens, they no longer try to be strong, they simply are. You don't need to be extraordinary to never give up. You just need to recognize that the urge to stop is a natural part of the journey. Observe it, smile at it, and act anyway, because every small action against hesitation is a training for the mind. You can't erase resistance, but you can overcome it. And when you do it long enough, your brain learns a truth that changes everything. Every rise is worth it. Every small step brings you closer to the person you're meant to become. There's one thing most people misunderstand about mental strength. They think that those who never give up are the ones with unshakable belief, who are always optimistic, always seeing light at the end of the tunnel. But the truth is the opposite. The truly resilient are not those who always believe, but those who keep going even when they no longer do. They don't need motivation to act, they only need a promise to themselves. And that's the essence of it all. Resilience, the strength to rise from any fall. Resilience is not a gift you're born with. It's a skill built through small, repeated actions over time. Every time you stand up after failure, you're forging a new fiber in your mind. Every time you say, "I'll try again," instead of "I give up," you're reinforcing the invisible armor that protects your will. It's the process of reprogramming your brain not through words, but through lived experience. The brain learns through action, and when you act in your weakest moments, you're teaching it that you're no longer as easy to break as you once were. The difference between those who achieve and those who stop halfway isn't in circumstance or luck, it's in a repeated choice. I will continue no matter how I feel. Most people act when they feel good. The resilient act, even when they feel terrible. They understand that emotions are temporary, but actions leave lasting imprints. When you stay consistent long enough, those actions accumulate, forming new beliefs, and those beliefs become the compass for the rest of your life. The mind can be trained like a muscle. You can't go to the gym once and expect your body to change. You can't read one inspiring book and expect to become strong. Both require repetition, silent, consistent training sessions. And the most important exercise for the mind is not to give up. Each day, you'll face resistance, the inner voice saying, "It's too hard. It doesn't matter anymore. Maybe I'm not good enough." That's the test. If you keep going through that, you're training your brain not to betray you. The resilient aren't those who never fall apart. They're the ones who learn from every fall to rise faster. Every failure becomes data, not proof of inadequacy. They see failure the way a craftsman sees his tools, something to sharpen, to study, to prepare for the next round. The world doesn't reward perfection. It rewards those still standing when everyone else has left. You might be in a phase where everything seems stuck. You're trying, but seeing no results. You start to doubt yourself. That's the place no one wants to stay. The space between hope and exhaustion. But that's also where real strength is born. Just as coal becomes diamond under pressure, you become your most unbreakable self in that moment. When you refuse to quit, you're not proving something to the world, you're proving to your own mind that you can be trusted. All inner strength begins with one simple principle: repeated actions create identity. If you repeat the actions of someone who never gives up, you become that person. If you keep standing up, your mind starts to assume that rising is the natural response. Then You no longer have to try to be resilient, you simply are. One day, you'll look back and realize that the days you wanted to quit were the very days that shaped you. The moments you felt hopeless were when you were actually becoming strongest. Every great achievement is built on thousands of small moments where someone chose not to give up. And today, when you decide to keep going with no applause, no instant result, you're living one of those moments. No miracle is needed, no inspiration required. You just have to continue. Because when you train your mind not to give up, you're not just changing the outcome, you're transforming who you are. And when that happens, nothing in this world can stop you from moving forward. If you've ever felt weak, if you've ever started something with all your determination only to give up halfway, you're not alone. We've all been there, the moment you wake up, look in the mirror, and feel like a part of you is slowly giving up. Not because you don't want to be better, but because you're tired. Too many disappointments, too many efforts with no results. And you start to think maybe you weren't made to be strong. But I want you to know this: you're not weak, you're not lazy, and you're not broken. What you're feeling is completely human. The human brain has a defense mechanism called emotional self-preservation. When you face a challenge, it triggers warning signals that make you want to retreat. It tells you, take a break, don't try anymore, do it later. It doesn't do this to destroy you, but to protect you from the pain of failure. The brain doesn't distinguish between physical and emotional pain. So when you experience disappointment, it reacts as if you're physically hurt. But if you don't understand this, that reaction can convince you that you're not good enough. The truth is, the urge to give up isn't a sign of weakness, it's proof that you're approaching your limits. And those limits aren't fixed. They can be stretched through patience, by facing your emotions instead of running from them. Every time you don't give up when you're tired, you're training your brain to understand that moving forward is safe. And once it learns that, the reflex to quit slowly fades. I've been where you are. There were nights I stared at the ceiling, wondering if I had the strength to start over again. I used to think that successful people were simply different, that they were stronger, luckier, that they had something I didn't. But I discovered the simplest truth. They too were tired, afraid, and ready to quit. But they refused to let temporary emotions define them. They acted even when their hearts were heavy. And then the miracle happened. Feelings began to change because of action. When you understand that emotions aren't the enemy, you stop fighting yourself. You don't need to eliminate fear. You just need to learn to walk with it. You don't need to silence doubt. You just need to let it sit in the back seat while you keep driving forward. True strength isn't the absence of negative emotions, it's the ability to keep going while they're still there. Think back to the last time you made it through something difficult, a half-finished project, a broken relationship, a dream that seemed lost. You thought you couldn't handle it, but you did. How? Not through a miracle, but by continuing to breathe, to move, to exist. And that the act of existing in adversity made you stronger, even if you didn't realize it. Emotional ups and downs don't make you weak, they make you human. And because you can feel fear and vulnerability, you have the capacity for true growth. Those who never allow themselves to feel weak never learn resilience. Iron only becomes steel when it's forged in fire. Humans only become unbreakable when they allow themselves to endure pain without running away. So next time you feel tired, pause and breathe. Look your fear in the eye and say, I see you, but I'm still going. Let your emotions exist, but don't let them steer the ship. Action is the rudder. Emotions are just waves. And like every wave they pass, you don't have to be perfect to continue. You just need the courage not to turn back. Every small step is a message to yourself. I'm still here. I'm still fighting. And step by step, you'll rebuild your faith in yourself. A faith no longer dependent on circumstances or the praise of others, but born from the quiet, knowing that no matter what happens, you never gave up. The human mind is like raw steel. When untouched, it bends easily, breaks easily under pressure. But when placed in the fire, when forged through strikes and extreme heat, it becomes an unbreakable blade. The challenges in your life are that fire. Every failure, every stumble, every moment you want to give up, they don't exist to burn you down, but to forge you into something unbreakable. No one wants to be thrown into the fire. No one enjoys pain, rejection, or heartbreak. But fire is unavoidable if you wish to become the strongest version of yourself. A person who has never been tested is like steel that's never been forged bright, but fragile. Those who have endured and still stand are the ones truly worth trusting. That's why the resilient have deeper eyes, steadier voices, and a calm that can't be faked. They no longer fear the fire because they've walked through it and survived. Imagine standing on a high mountain. Every step upward pushes you beyond your comfort zone. No one sees you gasping for air. No one hears your heart pounding. And often, even you aren't sure you can take another step. But that's the moment you're forging your mind. You're teaching it that tired doesn't mean stop. Like an athlete pushing their body past its limits, they don't weaken, they grow stronger. The mind is the same. It only grows when placed in adversity. Many believe they must find inspiration to act. But inspiration is like the wind, it comes fast and fades fast. You can't build a house on the wind, but you can build it on solid action. Every small act, writing one more line, taking one more step, or simply refusing to quit today, is a brick in the foundation of your mental strength. Your house doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to stand through the storm. A seed only sprouts when it's buried in darkness, cracked open, and pressed beneath the weight of the earth. But from that pressure, life begins. Humans are the same. When you're crushed by disappointment, it's not the end, it's the beginning. Those who never give up know that something is always growing in the dark. They don't fear loneliness because they know solitude is where willpower is born. Resilience isn't the roar of victory. It's the quiet of someone who keeps walking when no one is watching, like a candle in a storm, small but unextinguished. Every time you survive a hard day, you add another layer of wax to your inner flame, making it burn longer and brighter. When you look back, you'll see no moment was meaningless. Every pain, every tear was a hammer shaping your strength. The world is full of talent, but few have consistency. Talent is a gift. Consistency is forged. Talent helps you begin, but only resilience allows you to finish. Like the bridge between dreams and reality, perseverance is the structure that keeps you from falling into the pit of regret. You may grow tired or lose direction, but if you keep walking, that bridge will carry you through every storm. One day, when you face the greatest hardship of your life, remember the image of steel. Remember, it didn't become strong by avoiding the fire, but by walking through it, and so will you. Every adversity doesn't come to destroy you, it comes to reveal the strength you never knew you had. In the end, your mind doesn't need perfection, it needs discipline. Like a craftsman sharpening his blade each day, you must sharpen your mind through discipline, through action, through persistence. Over time, the cracks will fade, the edges will smooth, and you'll become someone no storm can break. You won't just learn to survive the fire, you'll learn to walk through it while keeping the light within you alive. There's a simple truth most people overlook. You don't need to change your whole life in a single day. You just need to do one small thing right today, and repeat it tomorrow. Every great strength is built from actions so small that no one notices. Just like a river cuts through rock, not by power, but by persistence. Training your mind not to give up doesn't start with giant leaps. It starts with steps so small you can't fail. When you lose motivation, your brain will search for reasons to delay. It tells you that you need to prepare more, need inspiration, need the perfect moment. But there is no perfect moment. Some people wait for inspiration their whole lives and never begin. So break that cycle with one simple rule. Just start for 2 minutes. This action is so small that the brain can't resist it. Write one sentence, take one step, breathe deeply, and do just one thing. Once you start, momentum takes over. The mind doesn't need revolutions, it needs habits. A repeated action is the first brick in the foundation of consistency. Do something long enough, and it becomes instinct. Like tying your shoes or washing your face in the morning. You don't think about it anymore. That's the goal of micro-actions, turning difficult things into natural ones. Choose an action so small, you can't make an excuse to avoid it. If you want to read more, start with 2 pages. If you want to get stronger, start with a 5-minute walk. If you want to write 1 sentence. Not much, just consistently. A small action has strange power. It doesn't just create progress, it breaks the chain of doubt. Every time you complete a micro-action, you're sending your brain a message, I can do this. And that message, repeated often enough, replaces, I'm not good enough, or I'll do it later. You start believing in action more than emotion. That belief is the core of discipline. Imagine pushing a snowball. At first, it's small and light, and every roll seems useless. But as you keep going, the snow thickens, the ball grows heavier, and soon it starts rolling on its own. Micro-actions work the same way. You must endure the dry beginning, when results are invisible. But once momentum builds, you no longer have to push as hard. Progress becomes natural. Someone who's failed doesn't need to rebuild everything, they just need to take the first step again. When you feel like you've lost discipline, don't look for inspiration, do the smallest possible thing. A small action restores faith faster than any speech. Real strength isn't in how much you do, it's in not stopping. Each micro-action is a reminder that you're still in control of your direction. Just like physical training, the mind must be activated before it's tested. Micro-actions warm up your willpower. They signal your brain that you're ready, and once that signal fires, energy follows. A person afraid to write may just need to open their laptop and type a title. Someone hesitant to work out may only need to put on their shoes and stand by the door. When you put yourself in the position of action, your body finishes the rest. The key is never to underestimate the power of small things. The world celebrates big leaps, but in the shadows, it's the small steps that build resilience. Each action, no matter how trivial, is a stone laid on your path. And when you look back after a year, you'll see you've come farther than you imagined. Not through bursts of greatness, but through steady steps, day after day. You might think 2 minutes can't change anything, but 2 minutes is the beginning of everything. The first 2 minutes of a run, the first 2 minutes of writing, the first 2 minutes of a conversation can open an entirely new path. Don't underestimate the small, because what's small, repeated over time, becomes great. Each morning, remind yourself, I don't have to finish everything, I just need to start. Set the bar so low you can't fail. Then multiply it by time. The results won't come because you're stronger than others, but because you stayed loyal to small action. And when that becomes habit, you'll realize something miraculous. You no longer have to try not to give up, because you've become the kind of person who always begins again. There's an invisible enemy that everyone who's ever tried to start something must face. It has no face, no name, yet it shows up every time you're about to act. It whispers that today isn't the right day, that you need a little more rest, that you'll begin when things are perfect. It convinces you that delaying is reasonable, that stopping for a day won't hurt. But that voice is the greatest barrier between you and your goals. That is resistance, the mind's invisible force of opposition. Resistance is a natural human instinct. Every time you try to step outside your comfort zone, the brain activates its defense system. It doesn't want you to take risks, because change feels like danger. When you decide to work out, learn something new, or start a project, the brain detects a threat. This will drain energy. This could lead to failure. So, resistance appears not as loud fear, but as soft, reasonable whispers. What you need to understand is that resistance can't be eliminated. It will always exist at every stage of life. But you can learn to overcome it not through force, but through strategy, like a sailor who can't stop the wind but learns to use the sail. The first strategy, asterisk, asterisk, act before you think too long. Asterisk, asterisk. Resistance is strongest in the moments of hesitation, but every second you hesitate, it grows stronger. So use the 5-second rule. When an idea comes, count backward. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and move. Motion breaks the thought cycle and shifts you into control. Once you begin, resistance loses its grip. The second strategy, asterisk, asterisk, shrink the task. Asterisk, asterisk. Resistance feeds on overwhelm. When you see a goal as too big, it convinces you it's impossible. But when you break it down, focusing only on the next small step, you outsmart resistance through simplicity. It can't fight a task so small it feels effortless. Write 1 sentence. Clean 1 corner. Read 5 lines. That's how you win one small action at a time. The third strategy, asterisk, asterisk, set short time frames. Asterisk, asterisk. Resistance thrives in vagueness. When you say, "I'll do it later," it has endless room to grow. But when you say, "I'll do it for 10 minutes," you shrink the battlefield. Resistance can't attack within limits that small, and that's enough to create momentum. Another key is to asterisk, asterisk, recognize resistance instead of fighting it blindly. Asterisk, asterisk. When you feel the urge to avoid, pause and say, "This isn't me, this is resistance." Naming it takes away its power. You're no longer identifying with laziness or fear, you're observing a natural mechanism, and the observer always has a choice. Resistance is clever. It doesn't always say, "Don't do it." Sometimes it disguises itself as busyness. You tidy your desk instead of writing. You check emails instead of learning. You prepare endlessly, but never start. Be honest with yourself. Does what you're doing truly move you forward, or just make you feel like you're moving? Awareness is the first step to breaking the illusion. One of the most powerful ways to overcome resistance is to asterisk, asterisk, act before you feel ready. Asterisk, asterisk. Most people think they need inspiration first, but action creates inspiration. Like the body, the mind has inertia. It needs a push to start moving, and once it moves, energy follows. You can't wait for the wind to sail. You must row to create your own wind. There will be days you lose. Resistance will win. You'll skip a workout, postpone your work, or hit snooze and go back to sleep. But don't let one small defeat turn into a habit. Don't punish yourself. Observe, acknowledge, and begin again. Resistance is strongest when you feel guilty, because it uses that guilt to keep you still. Forgiving yourself disarms it completely. To overcome resistance long-term, asterisk, asterisk, build systems, not moods. Asterisk, asterisk. When something becomes part of your routine, you don't have to decide daily. Resistance weakens because it only lives in hesitation. Remove the decision, and you remove the resistance. Finally, remember, resistance never disappears. It just changes shape. Each time you level up, it returns stronger, because it reflects the importance of what you're about to do. The greater the fear, the greater the proof that it matters. So instead of running, smile when you feel resistance. It's not weakness, it's a sign you're growing. Every day, when the voice in your head says, "Not today," remember, resistance only has power if you listen. The moment you act, it dissolves like mist. You don't need to destroy it, you only need to walk through it. And when you do that enough times, your mind learns the truth. Resistance isn't something to fear. It's just a door you must walk through on your way to becoming the person who never gives up. If there's one secret that helps you overcome every wave of resistance, every loss of motivation, and every return of fear, it's this. Asterisk, asterisk the system. Asterisk, asterisk. People don't succeed because of inspiration. They succeed because of structure. No one is strong enough to rely on willpower forever. True strength comes from designing your life so that the right actions become easy and the wrong ones become hard. Discipline isn't about fighting yourself every day. It's about arranging your environment, habits, and rhythm of life so they naturally pull you in the right direction. Look around. The most successful people aren't always motivated, but they all have systems that keep them consistent. They don't wake up each morning deciding whether to work, train, or learn because they've built a life where those things happen automatically. The brain has limited willpower, but infinite capacity for automation. When you do something at the same time, in the same context, long enough, your brain turns it into reflex. Asterisk, asterisk. A system is how you turn effort into instinct. Asterisk, asterisk. Once your priorities become habits, you no longer have to force yourself. You just live. Start with the simplest principle. One action, one cue, one moment. If you want to read, attach it to something you already do. Read 5 pages right after your morning coffee. If you want to exercise, leave your shoes where you'll see them when you wake up. Each small cue is a silent reminder that nudges you into action without thought. This is called asterisk, asterisk, habit stacking, asterisk, asterisk building, a new habit on top of an existing one. Next, remove choice. As long as you have a choice, you'll hesitate. If you want to work out in the morning, don't ask, should I do it today? That question is the doorway for resistance. Treat it as a default, like brushing your teeth or eating breakfast. When there's no decision to make, there's no battle to fight. A crucial part of your system is your asterisk, asterisk environment. Asterisk, asterisk. Environment beats willpower every time. You can have iron determination, but if your surroundings are full of distraction, you'll lose. Conversely, if you set up a space that supports your goals, success becomes inevitable. Design your workspace so that sitting down makes you want to begin. Keep your phone out of reach, clear your desk, let the light fall where you work. A deliberately arranged environment is a quiet but powerful system of support. Then, track your progress. The brain is wired to seek reward. When you notice improvement, even the smallest kind, dopamine, the motivation chemical, fires. So record what you've done. It doesn't need to be complex, just mark each day you complete your task. When you see a chain of progress, you won't want to break it. That's the power of asterisk, asterisk momentum. Asterisk, asterisk. But a system isn't only about efficiency, it's about recovery. Because everyone slips. A good system isn't one that never breaks. It's one that helps you return quickly. If you miss a day, come back the next, even with a smaller effort. Follow the rule of asterisk, asterisk. Never miss twice. Asterisk, asterisk. Don't let one missed step become a downward spiral. One mistake doesn't define you as long as you don't stop. And remember, your system must fit times you. Asterisk. There's no universal formula. Some people thrive early, others at night. Some work best in silence, others with gentle music. A system isn't a cage, it's a framework for freedom. Experiment, adjust, refine, until your days flow naturally without strain. Many people fail because they depend on emotion. They wait for inspiration, the perfect timing, or the right feeling. But resilient people know not to trust emotions, they trust systems. When you have a system, you don't need motivation to start. You simply follow the rhythm. The system is the bridge between asterisk, asterisk, inspiration and action, desire and result. Asterisk, asterisk. Look at every lasting success in history, from athletes to artists to innovators. They all lived within the discipline of their own systems. No one became legendary from a single burst of effort. They became legendary because they built the habit of never stopping. That's not magic, it's intelligent design. If you truly want to train your mind never to give up, Stop asking, "How can I stay motivated?" and start asking, "What system will protect my commitment?" Because in the end, it's not emotion that carries you through the darkest days, it's your system. One day, you'll wake up and realize you no longer have to force yourself to live with discipline. Doing the right things will feel effortless, natural, like breathing. That's when your system has become one with who you are. And when that happens, nothing can pull you off the path you've chosen. No willpower is strong enough if your environment constantly pulls you backward. Most people don't fail because they lack discipline. They fail because they live in spaces that nurture procrastination. Your mind is the product of the environment you live in every day. Look around. The things you hear, see, touch, and surround yourself with are quietly shaping your habits, your energy, and even your beliefs. If you want to train your mind never to give up, first create an environment where continuing becomes the natural choice. The human brain reacts powerfully to external cues. If your workspace is cluttered, if your phone is always lighting up, if your bed and desk are within arm's reach, you're setting yourself up for failure. But when you enter a clean, quiet, softly lit, organized space, your brain receives a signal of safety. It understands. This is where focus happens. That calm becomes the doorway to your inner strength. A good environment isn't a perfect one. It's one that reduces resistance and increases triggers for action. If you want to work out, place your gym clothes where you can see them. If you want to read, keep your book where you relax at night. If you want to meditate, choose a fixed corner with soft light and no devices. Every cue is a gentle reminder to your brain, it's time to do the right thing. And when these cues repeat daily, your brain begins to act automatically, without effort. But environment isn't just physical, it's also social. Humans are creatures of imitation. You become the average of the people you spend the most time with. Surround yourself with those who complain, make excuses, or quit easily, and you'll absorb their energy even if you don't want to. But if you stay close to people who take action, who dare to try, fail, and rise again, you'll find yourself changing just by being near them. Choose your social environment with intention. Seek communities where people don't just talk about dreams, they act on them. Places where everyone is pushing a little further every day. In those spaces, your standards rise naturally. You don't have to force progress. Progress becomes the norm. That environment will carry you further than personal willpower ever could. Sometimes, the best environment isn't crowded but quiet, where you can hear yourself think. Learn to create silence in your day, a moment to disconnect, reflect, and recharge. Silence is the inner space that allows you to see your direction clearly instead of being swept away by noise. A strong mind doesn't belong to someone always busy, but to someone who knows when to pause and realign. If you want to change your habits, change your triggers, the brain works on a loop. Cue, action, reward. For example, if you want to reduce screen time, leave your phone in another room and replace it with a book where you usually sit. When the cue changes, the behavior follows. Your willpower isn't weak, the signals controlling you are just wrong. Imagine living in a room where everything is arranged to lead you toward your best self. Every corner whispers, "Keep going." That's not a fantasy, it's intentional design. You don't need motivation to work when all you have to do is step into the right space. Like how your body knows to move when you enter a gym, your mind knows to grow when you step into the right environment. A key part of designing your environment is removing temptation before it appears. If social media distracts you, set time limits. If noise breaks your focus, use headphones or find quiet. Don't make your willpower fight battles it can't win. The wise don't resist temptation, they eliminate it. And in the end, the strongest environment is your inner one. The space inside your mind can be chaotic or calm depending on how you speak to yourself. If your inner voice is critical, you create pressure. If it's patient and trusting, you build a home for mental strength. Every thought is a brick in the house of your mind. Choose sturdy ones. Remember, your environment doesn't just support you, it defines you. A strong seed will wither in the wrong soil, but a weak one can thrive in the right conditions. You don't need to be strong immediately. You just need to create an environment where growth becomes inevitable. Then, each morning, you won't have to command yourself to try harder. You'll simply live within the system and environment you've built. And that environment, day by day, moment by moment, will forge a mind that never gives up. There comes a moment in every journey of growth when you can no longer blame anyone else, not your circumstances, not your childhood, not your job, not the people around you. There's only you and the truth that you alone are responsible for whether you continue or stop. That moment may feel raw, but it is the beginning of true freedom. Because when you finally accept that no one is coming to save you, you begin to save yourself. Many people spend their entire lives in the mindset of a victim. They say, I can't because I don't have opportunities. I can't because no one helps me. I can't because I've failed before. But the phrase, I can't, is the wall that blocks their growth. No one denies that life can be unfair, that some people face more hardship than others. But the truth is, responsibility has nothing to do with fairness. You don't take responsibility because life is fair. You take responsibility because it's the only path that gives you back control. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself. It's not about shame, it's about ownership. It's acknowledging that no matter what happens, your reaction is your choice. You can't change the past, but you can change how you respond to it. And that's where real power begins. When you accept full responsibility, you reclaim the greatest power. A human being can possess the power to choose your response. No more I have to, or I was forced to, only I choose. When you say I choose, the world no longer controls you, you take the wheel. The storms may still come, but you know your hands are steady on the steering wheel. There's a subtle difference between the strong and the defeated. You stop saying, I can't because, and start saying, I'll find a way to. That single shift opens the floodgate of creativity, and that's how resilient people move forward while others stand still. Think back to the moments you overcame hardship. Maybe you were betrayed, misunderstood, or broken, but you stood back up, not because someone rescued you, but because you chose to rise. Maybe it was silent, maybe it was shaky, but it was your choice. That's responsibility. And every time you do it, you expand your capacity. You grow more confident, not because life gets easier, but because you know you will never abandon yourself again. Some say they can't take responsibility because they can't control everything. But responsibility doesn't mean control. It means ownership of the next step. The storm may come. People may leave. Plans may fall apart. But you will always have the power to ask. Asterisk. What will I do now? Asterisk. That power can never be taken from you. One of the clearest signs of a strong mind is the ability to stop blaming. Resilient people don't waste energy complaining. They redirect it into action. When faced with a problem, they ask, what's within my control? That question is simple but transformative, because when you focus on what you can do, you reclaim the power you unconsciously gave away to others or to fate. Remember, life owes you nothing. It isn't always fair, but it is always honest. It reflects what you give to it. If you react with resentment, you feel powerless. If you react with action, you build confidence. And over time, that confidence becomes an unshakable belief that you can face anything. Taking full responsibility isn't a burden, it's liberation. It cuts the cord that ties you to the past, to guilt, to fear. When you say, I'm responsible, you're also saying, I can do something about this. That statement opens the door to action. And action opens the door to hope. Life doesn't ask if you're ready, it only asks, will you get back up? And when you answer, yes, everything begins to change. You stop seeing life through the eyes of a victim and start seeing it as a creator. Every mistake becomes a lesson, every failure a foundation, every pain a source of fuel. One day, you'll realize that nothing in life was ever truly against you. Everything happened to forge the strength you needed. And that strength awakens only when you take full responsibility for your path. When you do, you no longer fear failure because you know you can begin again. You no longer fear loss because you know you can rebuild. And most importantly, you no longer fear yourself because you finally know you can trust who you are. No one escapes failure. No one walks through life without stumbling, losing, or making mistakes. But what separates those who fall from those who rise isn't the number of failures, it's how they use them. For the weak, failure is the end. For the resilient, it's the first chapter of a new story. They don't ask, "Why did this happen to me?" They ask, "What can I learn from this?" That single question turns pain into strength and failure into fuel. Failure isn't the enemy, it's the most honest teacher you'll ever have. Success makes you comfortable, but failure forces you to face the truth. It strips away illusions and makes you look directly at yourself. It teaches you what victory cannot, that your worth doesn't come from outcomes, but from your ability to rise after each fall. The strong are not those who always win, but those who never let failure define them. When you fail, your brain sends a warning. Don't try again, it's not worth it. But that moment is your chance to reprogram your perspective. Instead of treating failure as proof you're not good enough, see it as data. Each failure gives you information about what doesn't work. Every fall is a step forward in understanding. Used correctly, it makes you wiser, stronger, and closer to your goal. Thomas Edison once said, "I haven't failed 1,000 times, I've just found 1,000 ways that don't work." Others saw failure, he saw feedback. That mindset is the essence of mental toughness. When you see failure as fuel, you stop fearing it. You begin to welcome it as part of the process. Every misstep sharpens you, makes you more precise, more refined. But to turn failure into fuel, you must stop defining yourself by your results. When things don't go your way, it's easy to think, "I am a failure." But failure is an event, not an identity. You are not your failure, you've simply experienced it. A person who trips doesn't become the ground, they just touch it, then stand back up. When you separate your identity from your outcomes, you begin to see more clearly. You stop fearing mistakes, because mistakes no longer threaten your worth. Look at nature. A seed only sprouts when its shell breaks. Without that fracture, there is no life. Humans are the same. Every time you break, you open space for growth. Pain isn't a sign of defeat, it's a sign of transformation. Endure it long enough, and the wound heals not as it was before, but stronger, thicker, more resilient. Most people fear failure because they fear judgment. They're afraid others will see them as imperfect. But if you want to train your mind never to give up, you must accept that failure is part of training. You can't forge steel without fire. You can't forge a mind without cracks. Every failure is a repetition in the gym of resilience. Ask yourself, when was the last time you failed? What did you learn from it? Or did you simply move on, carrying fear instead of wisdom? Failure only becomes fuel if you dare to face it. Write down what you learned, no matter how small. Treat it as valuable data to refine your strategy. Successful people don't fail less, they learn faster. Another way to turn failure into fuel is to change its meaning. Instead of seeing failure as proof you're not enough, see it as evidence that you're trying something that matters. Every failure means you had the courage to act, to step outside comfort, to trust something uncertain. Only those who dare to do that ever move forward. Failure also dissolves ego. It reminds you that you're not invincible, that you always have more to learn. It keeps you humble, grounded, real. A person who's never failed has never truly tested themselves. But each time you fall, you become humbler. And humility opens the door to wisdom. And here's the miracle. Once you've failed enough times, you stop fearing it. Fear only has power when it's unfamiliar. But when you've touched it, lived through it, risen after it, you see failure not as an enemy, but as an ally. It teaches what success never can, how to rise when nothing is left. One day, You'll look back and realize that the moments when you thought you'd lost everything were actually the turning points that helped you find yourself. You'll see that every crack in your life wasn't where you broke, it's where the light got in. And when that light shines through, you'll understand. Failure never came to stop you. It came to prepare you for something greater. One of the greatest mistakes people make is loving the result but hating the process. They want success but not the long, quiet days it takes to build it. They crave breakthroughs but can't endure the silence before they arrive. Yet the paradox of life is this: results are the reward for those who learn to love the process. No one reaches greatness by obsessing over glory. They reach it because they fall in love with the steps, no matter how slow, repetitive, or unseen they may be. When you learn to love the process, you stop living in the tension of expectation. You no longer need visible results every day to feel worthy. You begin to understand that every small action, every time you keep a promise to yourself, is a deposit into an invisible account called inner strength. You may not see it now, but one day, when life tests you, you'll draw from it and realize how much stronger you've become. Those who don't love the process live in constant disappointment. They see others succeed and call it luck. They compare their journey to someone else's destination. But the consistent understand that no one sees the quiet hours, the late nights, the moments they kept going when no one believed. The process has no spotlight, it only has persistence. And it's in that darkness that greatness is born. When you love the process, effort stops feeling like punishment. You start seeing beauty in the work. Every drop of sweat becomes proof that you're moving forward. When you feel tired, you no longer think, "I want to stop," but rather, "This means I'm growing." Like muscle, the mind only strengthens under pressure. Pain stops being the enemy, it becomes evidence of progress. Remember, every great journey has its silent phases, the times when no one sees what you're doing. No one understands why you keep going. No one applauds or notices. But those are the moments you build the foundation. Without the foundation, the structure collapses. Without the quiet phase, there is no echo of success. When you love the process, you no longer need an audience. Your consistency becomes its own reward. A mature mind finds joy in small steps. It knows today doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be better than yesterday. It knows that each day of persistence lays another brick of confidence. You stop counting failures and start counting the times you continued. When you love the process, you stop asking, "When will I get there?" and start asking, "Who am I becoming along the way?" That question changes everything. Those who love the process don't chase fleeting emotions. They know feelings rise and fall, but systems, habits, and commitments form the foundation. They wake up early even when they don't feel like it. They finish the work even without inspiration. They understand that true love for a goal isn't a feeling, it's devotion. They don't just say, "I want it." They prove it through repeated action. The process is like climbing a mountain in the fog. You can't see the peak, but every step takes you higher. If you only focus on the summit, you'll exhaust yourself. But if you focus on your steps, your breath, the moment you'll find the climb lighter. One day, the fog clears, and you realize you've already come so far. That's the reward of those who love the process. To love the process, you must redefine how you measure yourself. Don't measure success only by results. Measure it by your loyalty to your commitment. If you did what you said you would, even without results yet, you've already won. If you kept your promise to yourself, you're winning every day. Be proud of your persistence, not just your progress. Like trees, all growth happens underground before it blooms above the surface. Just because you don't see results doesn't mean nothing's happening. Roots are deepening, strength is forming. Be patient. Success isn't built in leaps, it's built in thousands of small steps, repeated with love for the process. One day, you'll realize that what made you truly happy wasn't the moment you reached your goal, but the person you became on the way there. You'll see that you're no longer the one who feared, doubted, or quit easily. You've become someone who trusts action, effort, and most importantly, yourself. Love the process, because the process never betrays you. The results may come slowly, but if you stay loyal to the journey, they will come. And when they do, you'll understand that the most valuable thing you gained wasn't success, it was who you became on the way to it. There is a level of resilience that very few people ever reach, the point where times not giving up times becomes a reflex. You no longer have to wrestle with yourself every time you feel like stopping, because deep down, your body and mind have been trained to rise instead of surrender. When that happens, you're not just fighting fatigue, you're rewiring who you are. The reflex to never quit isn't built on easy days. It's born in the exact moments when you most want to stop, but keep going anyway. Every time you're exhausted yet push for one more rep, every time you're disappointed but stand back up, you're carving a new command into your mind. Asterisk. I don't stop when I'm tired. I stop when I'm done. Asterisk. Repeat that long enough, and it becomes the default program that runs your life. The brain learns through action, not words. Every time you quit, your brain records that stopping is how you escape pressure. Every time you push through, it learns that continuing is safe. So if you want to build the reflex of not giving up, you must face resistance often enough that your mind begins to understand. Asterisk. To continue times is the natural choice. There's a familiar moment everyone faces. You're in the middle of something hard, a tough workout, a demanding project, a stressful season of life. Your body starts to signal. Stop. Your mind whispers, that's enough. That moment is training time. It's not about proving strength, it's about programming response. When you say, asterisk, just one more, asterisk, you're not only breaking your current limit, you're teaching your brain that fatigue doesn't mean stop. True strength doesn't come from always feeling strong. It comes from knowing how to act even when you have nothing left. The resilient don't push forward because they don't feel pain. They push forward because they've learned to see pain as part of the process. They don't wait for their emotions to change. They act so their emotions will change. Remember, every time you want to stop, it's not your body that's weak, it's your brain that's afraid. The brain hates discomfort. It just wants safety. But if you show it that going through pain doesn't destroy you, it makes you stronger, it begins to adapt. And once it does, fear loses its grip. The reflex to never quit is like a muscle. If you don't train it, it weakens. If you train it consistently, it becomes razor sharp. Every time you win a small battle with yourself, finishing what you started, keeping a promise no one else sees, you're building that reflex. One day, you'll notice you no longer need to debate with yourself. When challenge appears, you just move. A simple way to train this reflex is the asterisk 5 more minutes asterisk rule. Whenever you want to stop, tell yourself asterisk just 5 more minutes asterisk. It's small enough that your mind accepts it, but long enough to build momentum. 9 times out of 10, you'll go past those 5 minutes and realize you can keep going. Each time you do, you weaken the habit of quitting and strengthen the habit of continuing. Those with the reflex to never give up aren't always strong, but they are always loyal to the process. They understand that success doesn't come from avoiding fatigue, but from acting in spite of it. They know consistency isn't a feeling, it's a decision. And every decision to keep going lays another brick of character. Think about the people you admire: athletes, creators, leaders. They're not built differently from you. They've just trained themselves so that when things get hard, they don't think they move. While others are asking, should I keep going? They've already taken another step. That's the reflex. This reflex is also the root of true confidence. You don't need to believe you'll always win, you just need to know you'll never stop. And once you believe that deeply, nothing in life can scare you. No job, no challenge, no failure can defeat someone who's conditioned to rise. One day, you'll face the collapse, the plan's gone, the hope dimmed, everyone else walking away. But you will stand. Not because you don't feel pain, but because you've been trained not to surrender. You'll take a deep breath, clench your fists, and whisper, asterisk, I'm still here, asterisk. And in that moment, you become unbreakable. No one is born with the reflex to never quit. It's built choice by choice, day by day, moment by moment, every time you want to give up but don't. Remember, a person only truly falls when they stop getting back up. If you're still breathing, you still have a chance. If you're still moving, you're still winning. Training the reflex to never give up isn't about becoming perfect. It's about becoming untouchable by circumstance. When you reach that level, you stop living off luck or motivation. You live by principle. You no longer fear the challenge, because you know, no matter what happens, you will never stop. In the end, the journey of training your mind to never give up is not just about learning to keep going, it's about becoming someone for whom giving up is no longer an option. You no longer fight to be strong, because strength has become part of your very being. What once scared you is now only a memory. What once made you doubt has become a lesson, and what once made you want to stop has turned into the very force that propels you forward. When you've gone far enough, you realize there is no true destination, only the journey and the growth that happens with each step. Success is no longer about external glory, but about the calm that comes from knowing you can face anything. No more fear, no more waiting, no more blame. Only the quiet peace of someone who understands the worth of effort. A trained mind is not one that feels no pain, but one that knows how to move through pain and find meaning within it. You no longer need the world to validate your worth, because you've proven it to yourself. Every scar becomes a symbol of survival. Every time you rise again, it's proof of your strength. Every breath you take is a reminder that you're still moving forward. You may still fall. You may still doubt, still feel weary, still want to stop sometimes. But the difference now is you know how to return. You know that no matter how many times you collapse, you can always begin again from where you stand. You understand that victory isn't about never falling, it's about never giving up. One day, when you look back on the road you've traveled, you'll see that the miracle wasn't in the peaks you reached, but in the days you survived when you thought you couldn't. You'll smile not because you've arrived, but because you've become someone who can walk endlessly without fear of stopping. Training your mind to never give up isn't a battle with the world, it's a homecoming to yourself. It's the realization that the strength you've been searching for was never out there. It's always been within you, waiting to be awakened. And now, you're not just a survivor, you are the master. The one who has walked through fire and learned to smile within it. The one who knows that no matter how the world changes, no matter what tomorrow brings, you will rise, you will move forward, and you will never give up. If this story resonated with you, if it made you want to rise, to keep going, to believe in yourself, leave a small sign of connection. Hit like, share this video with someone who needs to hear it today, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next story of inspiration. Thank you for listening to the very end. Thank you for letting me walk beside you on this journey of mental discipline and rediscovery of your inner strength. Remember, there is no finish line in personal growth. And if you're still here, it means you're still moving forward. Don't quit, don't fall, keep going. I'll see you in the next story.